Once upon a time there lived two couples named Joshua and Juliet. They had been married for 5 wonderful years and their love had grown stronger with each passing day, but amidst the joy a shadow loomed. Ever since they were married, Juliet has never given birth to a male child but rather female. For the past 5 years Juliet had just given birth to 4 girls and Joshua was not well pleased because she hasn't given him a male child. Joshua's elder sister Elizabeth will often visit Joshua's home once in a week, and each time she comes she will always poison Joshua's mind, telling him that is he not tired of female children. She will further said that if he dies now, who will take over his properties? Joshua felt a pang of sadness, unsure what to do. He loved Juliet dearly but Elizabeth's words lingered. Maybe Juliet is cursed, Elizabeth hinted. Find a wife who can give you a male heir, she suggested. Joshua's heart wrestled with conflicting emotions. His anger boiled over like a simmering pot. Elizabeth's words echoed in his mind, fueling frustration. He no longer felt comfortable around Juliet. Every little thing she did annoyed him. A misplaced spoon, a wrinkled shirt, or a burned meal, Joshua yelled, his patience worn thin. Can't you do anything right? He snapped. Juliet's eyes welled up with tears. Honey, I'm sorry, she pleaded, but Joshua's anger wouldn't subside. He criticized her constantly. You're useless just like your barren womb. Juliet's heart shattered into a million pieces. The love they once shared began to fray. Their home, once filled with laughter, became tense. Juliet walked on eggshells, fearing Joshua's outbursts. Their daughters sensed the tension. They cried, feeling the weight of their parents' unhappiness. Joshua's distance grew a chasm between them. He began to question their marriage. Was it a mistake marrying Juliet? He wondered. Elizabeth's poisonous words had taken root. Joshua's love for Juliet withered, dying slowly. A few months passed and Juliet discovered she was pregnant again. She felt a mix of emotions, happiness and dread. Happiness for the new life growing inside her. Dread of Joshua's reaction if it was another girl. What if he throws me out? Juliet worried. What if he leaves me for another woman? Juliet couldn't shake off the fear. She knew Joshua's frustration had reached its peak. Elizabeth's words still lingered. A man needs a son. Juliet prayed fervently for a male child. Please God, let it be a boy, she whispered, but deep down she knew God's plan wasn't hers to decide. As her belly grew, so did her anxiety. Joshua's behavior remained cold and distant. No affection, no kindness, just indifference. Juliet felt like a stranger in her own home. The pregnancy progressed and Juliet's fear intensified. What would Joshua do if she gave birth to another girl? Would he still love her, or would he abandon her and their daughters? The uncertainty hung like a dark cloud. Juliet's heart raced with anticipation and fear. The day of delivery drew near. Would her prayer be answered? 3 days before Juliet's due date, Joshua's words cut deep. Juliet, if you bring another girl into this world, don't bother coming back to my house, Joshua warned. Juliet felt devastated. Her heart shattered into pieces. How could Joshua be so cruel? Didn't he love her regardless of the child's gender? Tears streamed down her face as she wondered, what if God had destined this child to be a girl? Desperate for answers, Juliet visited the hospital for a scan. Perhaps the results would bring better news, but the doctor's words crushed her. Congratulations, Juliet, you're having a baby girl. Juliet cried bitterly in the hospital, uncontrollable sobs. Everyone around her was concerned. What's wrong? They asked. Juliet tried to compose herself, hiding her pain, forcing a weak smile. She whispered, it's just hormones, but inside, she was dying at home. Juliet locked herself in her room. Thoughts swirled in her mind like a vortex. Should I lie to Joshua that I had a miscarriage and abort the baby? Juliet thought, feeling confused, tired and sad. Juliet felt trapped. The weight of Joshua's ultimatum suffocated her. Would Juliet find a way out of this heartbreak? Only time would tell. The day of delivery finally arrived and Juliet lay in the labor room surrounded by nurses who were busy preparing for the birth. Juliet's heart ached with every contraction, torn between the joy of meeting her new baby and the sorrow of knowing Joshua's disappointment. She couldn't bring herself to consider abortion. A thought that went against her faith and values. Labor pains intensified and Juliet winced her mind with thoughts of Joshua's reaction. As the nurses encouraged her to push, Juliet's thoughts drifted to Joshua's words, don't come back with another girl. Tears streamed down her face as she pushed one last time, then a tiny cry filled the air. A beautiful baby girl, one of the nurses exclaimed. Others congratulated Juliet, but she remained still, her eyes fixed on the ceiling. She knew Joshua had wanted a boy and this little girl would only bring him more disappointment. The nurses handed Juliet her baby and she gazed at the little one, so innocent and pure. Juliet's heart swelled with love, but fear of Joshua's reaction lingered. "Welcome to the world, little one," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. The nurses noticed Juliet's silence and tried to reassure her, but Juliet knew Joshua wouldn't see it that way. She thought about his anger, his frustration and his disappointment. What would he say when he found out? Would he reject their daughter? When the news of Juliet's new baby reached Joshua through Elizabeth, Joshua's face darkened, anger boiling within. He stormed to the hospital, his heart heavy with disappointment. Upon arrival, he found Juliet nursing their newborn. "Juliet, you failed me again." Joshua spat. Tears streamed down Juliet's face as she pleaded. "Joshua, please understand, it's not my fault." But Joshua's anger wouldn't subside. "Pack your bags and leave my house," he ordered. "Take all your daughters with you," Juliet cried, pleading for a second chance. "Joshua, please don't send us away, we have nowhere to go." But Joshua turned deaf ears to her words. He couldn't bear the sight of Juliet and their daughter.